Good evening, everybody. Can we please find a seat? We're about to get started.
You need like 5.
All right, good evening. My name is Don Fontana. I'm the Athletic Director at Deer Park Schools. I'd like to welcome everybody back for our 3rd annual Deer Park Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's a pleasure to have all of you back. For some of you, maybe it feels like it was just yesterday. For others, maybe it feels like it was forever ago. And for a bunch of you, probably somewhere in between. But it's very obvious that you made your mark while you were here. You were a tremendous student athlete. I'm sure you did much more than just that when you walked these halls. And it is about time that we finally get a chance to recognize all of you in a proper way for everything that you contributed to the school while you were here. So again, welcome, congratulations, and thanks for being here. To kick us off, we have a few select members of our Phoenix Club under the direction of Ms. Catherine Singer. They will be performing the national anthem, so if I could ask everyone to please rise for that. And if you are an alum and feel like you would like to continue to stand, they will be doing the alma mater following the national anthem as well.
There you go.
Thank you again to the Phoenix Club under the direction of Miss Catherine Singer. So, with the word thanks, obviously a lot of thanks has to go into a night like this because there are a number of people that this does not happen without all of their efforts. Starting with my assistant, Helen Bastow, who is working her way up here now. I'm sure that anybody who's being inducted today probably has talked to her almost as much as I have over the last 4 months because she's been in touch with you constantly for photos and bios and invites and how many people you're bringing and what shirt size and everything else. So really she created and distributed the nomination forms, located all of you, got information from you, photos, send out invites, created the templates for the plaques, put together the program. She's currently running the raffle outside. And obviously, it goes without saying that this does not happen if she is not with us. So a tremendous thank you to Helen. Also to our head custodian, James Parada, and his entire crew, with one in particular, Tony Santoro. They did a tremendous job over the past 3 years of the construction of our Hall of Fame wing. And Tony, actually, for those of you who are going to make it tomorrow, will be honored as the Grand Marshal of our parade tomorrow morning as well. So, well deserved to him. To Mike DiCarlo, who is in the back, our AV guy. He's doing live streaming tonight. He's recording the event. He's doing the slideshows. He's also double dipping and taking pictures intermittently. So, Mike, thank you very much for everything you're doing for us tonight. To our Hall of Fame committee, in addition to Helen and myself, we have Donna Elliott, Barbara Cornelia, Ian Karanikis, John McCaffrey, Alex Mezameris, Jim Petty, Nina Ragone, Kerry Schumacher, Anthony Tanacor, Garrett Noblet, Cody Cialino, and Ryan Argenziano. Thank you for reviewing these nominations, for voting for candidates, for attending the meetings to discuss ways to make this special for those of you returning tonight. Thank you to our committee. To our Booster Club, Donna Elliott, Barbara Cornelia, Stacy Rengal, Christine Rosales, Valeriana Rosales, Kelly Boyle, and Dan Stevens. Basically the funding for this project has come from the Booster Club, from the Hall of Fame sign that you'll see later tonight, to all of your plaques, to the balloons, refreshments, flowers, pictures, t-shirts for this evening. That basically comes from all of their efforts just to try and raise money however they can for special events like tonight. So thank you to our Booster Club. And a quick acknowledgement, because I believe some of them are in attendance tonight. The one thing that we did here over the last 2 years was not only how thrilled they were to be back, but please have us back again. So not everyone was able to make it, but I know Helen did put out invites to those that were inducted in 2023 and 2024. The lists are in the back of the program if you wanted to see who was inducted thus far. Do we have anybody standing up in attendance tonight that has already been inducted? Feel free to stand up. Congratulations once again. Okay, so for tonight's format, basically what I'll be doing is I will be introducing each presenter. Once the presenter is on stage, I'm going to ask that person to please invite up the inductee that you'll be speaking about. We're going to hear, obviously, some great things about each of them. And before you leave the stage, we'll be taking a picture in front of the backdrop. And then at the conclusion of the presentations at the end, we'd like to take one big group shot with everybody before we go down the hallway to see the Hall of Fame wing and then go into the cafeteria for refreshments. Okay, so that is pretty straightforward on that. In addition to the Hall of Fame Class of 2025 t-shirts and boutonnieres that you should have already received out in the lobby, our inductees tonight will also be receiving a replica of their Hall of Fame plaque, a certificate of distinguished achievement from Suffolk County Legislator Tom Donnelly, and a certificate of special recognition from Babylon Town Supervisor Rich Schaefer. So to kick us off tonight, we are going to be starting with our honorary category, and I would like to invite up Miss Alicia Frieda, who will be speaking on behalf of Al Cinnamore about our first inductee.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call to the stage Dr. Anthony Donatelli. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you tonight to speak on behalf of my father, Al Centimore, as we celebrate and induct a truly remarkable individual, Dr. Anthony Donatelli, or as he is more affectionately known, Doc, into the Deer Park Hall of Fame. These are the words of my dad. Doc's story is far more than a tale of professional success. It is a powerful narrative of dedication, humility, and unwavering commitment to the students and athletes of this district. His legacy is written not only in accolades, but in the countless lives he's touched, quietly and compassionately. Perhaps the truest measure of Doc's character lies not in the accolades he has received, but in the quiet decisions he made when no one was watching. In the 1980s, Doc was only compensated to attend home football games, but anyone who knows him understands these limitations never defined his sense of duty. Without recognition, compensation, or obligation, he chose to attend away games as well. He often told my father, "I just want to be there in case one of our players gets hurt." And so he went, week after week, year after year. Those self-imposed commitments often turned into 5 or 6 hour unpaid days. But for Doc, it wasn't about the time or the money. It was always about the kids. And his care didn't stop at the sidelines. Many of us in this room, as former athletes, remember the uncertainty that came with the start of a new season. As the first practices approached, a familiar wave of questions would surface. Were all the forms submitted? Was everything signed? Were we cleared to play? Almost without fail, someone would find out, often at the last minute, that their physical wasn't complete. Cue the scramble. Coaches worried, parents made calls, and players panicked. I can remember my father getting some of these calls, and the answer was always the same: call Dr. Donatelli. Somehow, time was never an obstacle. If a kid needed help, he found a way to make it happen. For about 40 years, Doc has been a towering figure in athletic medicine and earned much respect and recognition across the athletic community. With over 1,400 football games under his belt as a sideline medical professional, his dedication is unmatched. In fact, if you are attending the homecoming game tomorrow, you'll have the chance to see him in action. He has served as a tournament wrestling physician, serving mat side at 31 Section 11 Suffolk County Championships and 18 New York State Wrestling Championships, supporting athletes at the highest levels. He is widely regarded as one of the island's top physicians in the treatment of cauliflower ear and an expert in recognizing concussion symptomology. By carefully studying the impact of hits during play, Doc can often identify the symptoms the moment they appear on the field. His accolades speak volumes. In April 2019, he was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. And in May 2024, he earned his place in the Suffolk County Hall of Fame. But long before the white coat and credentials, Doc was a Deer Park Falcon and a graduate of the class of 1976. He was a 3-sport athlete and a force on the field, mat, and track, as much as he is today in the clinic. He played varsity football in 1975 and 1976, where he was a starting defensive lineman and set the school record, averaging over 11 tackles per game. He was an all-league wrestling champion in both years and an all-conference champion as well. In track and field, he was the MVP and top scorer as a high and intermediate hurdler and earned all-league honors in 1974, 1975, and 1976. In 1976, he was a county place winner in both the intermediate hurdles and the 4x200 relay. He was considered the second best athlete in his graduating class, second to Mark Ganser, who is also being honored tonight. Doc did say that he was much closer to Mark in the longest hair category, though I guess he took second to that as well. He carried that competitive spirit into college At Allegheny College, beginning in 1980, he placed in nearly every wrestling tournament he entered, stood on the podium in all 3 President's Athletic Conference championships, and qualified for 2 NCAA Division III national tournaments. He didn't just succeed athletically, he was also named an academic All-American, showing that his pursuit of excellence extended beyond the mat. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Dr. Donatelli has also been my father's close friend for nearly 40 years. In the words of my father, Dr. Donatelli is a true scholar, someone with an insatiable thirst for knowledge and a steadfast devotion to his family. He is, above all else, a man of integrity. Doc has been married to his wife, Carrie, for 42 years. They have 2 daughters and 1 son, all of whom were outstanding athletes themselves and went on to have impressive careers. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. No matter how full his professional life may be, Doc will be the first to tell you that his 3 children are his greatest accomplishment, and that's saying something. So when you think about what it truly means to be part of the Deer Park family, to give of yourself, to show up when it matters most, and to always put the students first, think of Doc. He embodies the very spirit of this Hall of Fame. So tonight, on behalf of my father, our family, and the entire Deer Park community, it is with great pride, respect, and heartfelt gratitude that we welcome Dr. Anthony Donatelli into the Deer Park Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Doc, and thank you for everything you do.
Our next presenter is going to be Anthony Tanacor.
Thank you very much. So before I talk about the gentleman I'm here with, if I could just have 30 seconds to talk about Dr. Donatelli as well. So I've been fortunate enough to know him for 35 years. His younger brother Chris is one of my best friends, was in my wedding party. So I've had the pleasure of knowing him since I was a little kid, and you're an amazing, amazing man, and even better father, husband, and doctor. It was always a little weird when I was a kid. He would give me a physical for sports, and then 3 hours later we were having dinner together. So, but it was always great. You're a great man. So Dr. Donatelli, great job again. Great job. So it was 2006, and I was in the athletic office in a meeting regarding football. The athletic director at the time, who was nowhere near as good as the current athletic director that we have now, but that goes without saying. He comes in, and out of nowhere, so he says, Deer Park is getting a bowling program. And I said, that's mine. He said, after 2 years of petitions and pleading with the Board of Ed, Deer Park is finally getting the bowling program that we've all been waiting for. So I said, absolutely. I said, I'm taking it right away. He said, you know bowling? I told him, absolutely. I did bowl Olympics as a kid. When I went to Robert Frost, I was in the bowling club. It was great. 2 games, a hot dog and a soda for $10. I did that in 7th and 8th and 9th grade. And since there was no team at the time, Mr. Bentz, who ran the club, allowed me and my friends to continue to attend through our high school years. Some of my best memories as a kid was bowling in the 5-man Friday night league at 9 p.m. We would get done around 1 a.m. and then hang around until 8 a.m. bowling what's called action. And when the PBA was bowling a tournament at Sable Lanes, the professionals would come down and we would bowl against them. This was amazing for an 18-year-old kid to bowl against people I'd watch on television. This is how far bowling at Deer Park traveled. I was so excited to have the chance to give other young bowlers amazing memories that come along with hanging around the bowling alley. If it wasn't for a few dedicated bowlers and parents that went to the Board of Ed to get a bowling team, this dream never would have come true. None of these people deserve more recognition than this individual. It is my absolute honor to please call up Steve Zimmerman, AKA Z. While simply saying his name would be more than enough, and he told me that's all you better do is just say my name. He deserves much more than that. From the minute I met Z, we hit it off. We both had a love and passion for this wonderful game. While we respected the game tremendously, we went about it in quite different ways. So while talking jargon such as 12 to 3 and back to 20, and 18 to 5, back to 20, rolls off my tongue now, that's not exactly how it began. So when I bowled, I scored well, but all I did was kind of just like picture the shot in my head, and I threw the ball down the lane. And he said to me, "What do you mean that's what you do?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "If I missed to the right of the headpin, I would move my feet right. And if I missed to the left of the headpin, I would move my feet left. Miss right, miss left, move left. What else is there?" I thought that he was gonna have an aneurysm and faint. He grabbed his head, as he did many, many times over the last 20 years that we've been together. He's like, "You don't look at any marks on the lane?" I said, "What marks?" He said, "How do you make spans?" I said, "I just throw the ball to pins. And for a 10-pin, corner is the only way to go." Something that we still disagree on to this day. He grabbed his head, shook it, grabbed my hand, took me to the foul line, and said, "You see those things on the lanes?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Those are called arrows. These things back here on the approach are called dots." He's like, "This is a process." He would repeat this thousands and thousands of times over the last 19 years. Because as everyone knows, the game begins at the foul line. And we work our way back, not the other way around. So from that moment, along with the kids on the team, I became more than a bowler. I became a student of the game. I was interested in the process just as much as the results, except of course during a match. Then I told him, I said, "Z, stick your process. I just want to win the matches." So at every practice, he was there at every practice and every match. And besides the love for the team, he also had his own children bowling. I figured, okay, I'd have Steve helping out for the next 10 years until all his kids graduated from school. Well, one of the many things that make him great is that even after his kids have graduated from Deer Park, with his youngest son graduating a decade ago, Steve has still never missed a practice or missed a match over the last 10 years without any kids in the school. He meets with any kid that wants lessons during the off season. He meets with kids on the weekends, and he never charges them a cent. He has helped kids get shirts, shoes, deals on bowling equipment. He's always willing to do anything to help the kids be as successful as possible. He has given so much of his time and knowledge to Deer Park Bowling. He is truly one of the reasons why Deer Park is qualified for the county championships 60% of the time in the history of the program. He's also one of the reasons why we have been able to get bowlers to qualify for the all-state teams. The only thing he refuses, though, which he will not help or do, is to supply the team with munchkins and mozzarella sticks. Refuses. Other than that, there isn't anything that he has not been willing to give. Bowling has given Z many things. It's given him a love and passion for a wonderful sport. He met his beautiful wife in a bowling alley, and they almost got married in a bowling alley. Bowling has given me many things as well. The best thing it has given me is a great friendship with a great man. I appreciate everything that you've done over the last 19 years, and I am so grateful for the friendship that we have formed and for all the laughs that we've had and all the cries, those damn mismakeables. Z, you've given so much, but I'd actually like to give you something in return. Now this may seem weird to you, but I promise it makes perfect sense. So in bowling, there's a thing where if you want somebody to miss a big shot, you literally just hold out your leg and you show them it's called the sock. So first time, it's like 18 years ago, we're bowling and it's an important match. And I go like this, and he's like, did you just give a 17-year-old kid the sock? I said, yeah, I want to win the match. I said, there's something wrong with you. I said, it's okay. Well, the kid threw a split, and we won the match. So my sock had a pretty good ranking, and that's the actual sock. So thank you very much. So I hope it brings you just as much luck in the future. Thank you for everything that you've ever done for me. Thank you for everything you've done for the program. And I just want to say congratulations on being inducted into the 2025 Deer Park Hall of Fame. It is well deserved.
Nobody knew they were going to get some bowling tidbits tonight when they showed up, right? Not to mention our sportsmanship rating just went down and heckling other high school kids to throw splits, but it's all good, I guess. Okay, moving on to our coach category, I'd like to call out Mr. Rob Franco.
Congratulations to all the inductees tonight. Certainly an impressive class, a lot of achievement. So congratulations to all of you. At this time, I'd like to invite my coach, former coach, Coach Carrie Gluck, up to the stand. It is an absolute honor to speak about my coach, friend, and colleague, Coach Carrie Gluck, as he's inducted into the Deer Park Athletics Hall of Fame. Coach Gluck graduated from SUNY New Paltz, where he played men's soccer, and was later inducted into the New Paltz Athletics Hall of Fame in 2008. He joined the Deer Park School District in 1967 as a social studies teacher and taught for 35 years before retiring in 2002. But his impact extended far beyond the classroom. Coach Gluck dedicated 36 years to the Deer Park athletic community as a lacrosse coach, but most notably as the head varsity boys soccer coach for 31 years from 1975 to 2007, and another 5 years as an assistant coach from 2018 to 2022. Over that time, he became the face of Deer Park soccer, racking up an impressive 230 career wins while in Deer Park, and 309 as a coach in Suffolk County overall, winning 4 league championships, multiple Coach of the Year awards, and several D playoff runs. His teams weren't just known for winning, they were known for their discipline, sportsmanship, and relentless work ethic. And that's a direct reflection of Coach Gluck's leadership and his approach to coaching. Beyond the sidelines, Coach Gluck has had a tremendous influence on soccer throughout Suffolk County. He's a founding member of the Suffolk County Boys Soccer Coaches Association, where he served for 45 years advocating for players and coaches alike. His peers hold him in such high regard that the Suffolk County Large School Coach of the Year Award was named in his honor, a well-deserved recognition of a lifetime dedicated to high school boys soccer. On a personal note, I had the privilege of both playing for Coach Gluck and then later coaching alongside him. Like most young players, I didn't always understand why coaches did what they did. And for those of you who played for Coach, you're going to remember some of the things I talk about right now. You'll remember the yellow card policy. I heard someone already grunt. If you got a yellow card playing for Coach Gluck, you had to sit the rest of the game. And I'm going to say, I got my fair share of yellow cards as a sophomore and a junior in high school, and I spent a lot of time on the bench. There are also some core warm-ups and the Jefferson runs that we had to do, and I will tell you this, my teammates, after speaking to them, we felt more like the track team than we did the soccer team, and we swear to this day that if we competed against the cross-country team, we would have beat them in a meet. And of course, who could forget the hard plastic brine balls that we had to use during practice? And if you forgot your ball, anyone want to take a guess what happened? You ran every single time. So after talking to fellow alumni and reminiscing about the times we spent playing for Coach, we realized that Coach wasn't just teaching about soccer. He was teaching us life lessons that we could take with us forever. Sitting out after a yellow card taught us self-control and discipline. The endless workouts and long runs taught us toughness, perseverance, how to overcome adversity, and prepared us for the long grind of the season. Bringing your ball to practice every day taught responsibility. But I gotta tell you, Coach, the plastic balls, none of us understand why we had to use those. And if you kicked it, you felt like you were gonna break your foot. But over the years, we came to understand that coaching isn't just about wins and losses. It's about impact. And true coaching is about helping students grow into the best versions of themselves, both on and off the field. And Coach Gluck did exactly that for us. He's the kindest man you'll ever meet, and he still reaches out to former players to check in, give advice, or just say congratulations. I know I still rely on him, and I enjoy our conversations. His mentorship has meant the world to so many of us. His influence has shaped generations of students, athletes, and coaches, and his impact will be continued to be felt for years to come. Coach Gluck, you embody what the Hall of Fame stands for. Excellence in coaching, dedication to education-based athletics, and a lifetime of service to students. Your achievements speak for themselves, but it's your character, humility, and the love you have for the game and your players that truly make you special. Congratulations, Coach Gluck, on your well-deserved induction to the Deer Park Athletic Hall.
Okay, moving on to our team category, I'd like to call up our current baseball head coach, Mr. Ryan Argenziano.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to congratulate tonight's inductees. What a tremendous honor this is, especially coming back to your Deer Park community. I'd also like to offer special congratulations to two former Deer Park baseball players, 1973 graduate Ray Searage and 1997 graduate Joe Valentine. Tonight I have the privilege of introducing a team that held a very special place in my father's heart. My father, Carmine Genziano, also referred to this group as the foundation of the winning tradition of Deer Park baseball. He would often tell us, and future teams, it all started with that 1980 team. He described them as a group of outstanding young men who came together and pulled for one another, not just on the field, but off the field as well. A tight-knit group who never believed they wouldn't find a way to get it done. This team ignited a legacy, starting one of the longest playoff streaks in Suffolk County baseball history. From 1980 to 2005, when he retired, the Deer Park baseball team only missed the playoffs once. Wouldn't want to have been on that team. It is my great honor to now welcome to the stage the team that started it all, the 1980 League Two champions, Suffolk County champions, and Long Island champions, with an incredible overall record of 28-2, the 1980 Deer Park Falcon baseball team. All right, at this time it gives me great pleasure to introduce one of the players from this team who will speak on behalf of them. He did a great job getting everyone here and together. That's my cousin Jasper Barone.
I haven't grown much. First and foremost, thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. It's an honor, a pleasure, all these talented players. And I have one thing that I'd like to say first and foremost. To my first friend ever in Deer Park, congratulations to Ted DeBasquale. I'm proud of you, buddy. Who would have thought at 5 years old at the bus stop we'd be sitting here tonight together? What I'd like to do first is say a couple of words about the people that are not with us right now, that were on this team and were an influence for our winning. First of all, Captain Kevin Bow is our shortstop and county MVP. Our pitcher, Alan Goldblatt, his family's in the audience. And his son's up here with us right now. Our equipment manager, Steve Kroenke. I hope his family is still here, and they are. And last but not least, my uncle, Coach Carmine Genziano. two-time Hall of Famer. And for the people that are here tonight, and these special guys I've had the last few weeks to get to know even more than we've been known when we were younger. And it's been an honor, a pleasure, and a lot of laughs. First and foremost, our captain, Larry Rossano. All-league first baseman, and he did win most handsome and best legs. I got that in, laugh for you. Our one and only pitcher, John Kaiser. Nothing I can say about him. 10-0, 0.67 ERA. You don't see that anywhere. All county. Sean Miller, undefeated pitcher. Dave Bostrop, undefeated pitcher. Richie Loeb, undefeated pitcher and reliever. Don Quigley, our senior first baseman. Brian Curley's not with us tonight, but he is our junior first baseman. Jimmy Walters, he was our all-league right fielder and second baseman. Lenny Patron, my good friend, shortstop. And who's gonna forget? Joe LaDonna, junior third baseman. Our left fielder, Rich DiMaggio, not here with us tonight. Our wonderful speedy center fielder, John Antretter, junior center fielder. Our all-around center fielder, senior John Brand. I call him the masher. Mike Miller, DH and right fielder. The steadiest guy on the team, our all-league catcher, Billy Russo. Our senior catcher, Joe Purcell, not with us tonight. Our junior catcher, Quentin Greco, not with us tonight. Me, junior second baseman. Our wonderful, beautiful statistician, Linda Birch. And Diana Cellini, not with us tonight. So now, I want to congratulate all the inductees tonight for being here. I know many of them as my coaches, my teachers. Congratulations to all of you. First and foremost, this 1980 Deer Park High School Hall of Fame baseball team would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible honor. To be recognized alongside so many great from this community and humbling, and we are grateful, the community is humbling, and we are grateful for the opportunity to celebrate this moment with all of you. Especially Deer Park's athletic director, Mr. Dominic Fontana. He started this 3 years ago. Yes, please. I was here for the inaugural one for Coach Carmine, and I'm telling you, this is something special that Mr. Fontana, you've done for this community and the athletes of this Deer Park High School. Thank you very much for that. We'd also like to thank my cousin, Brian Orgenziano. He's the Deer Park High School baseball coach. And for nominating this talented team, we thank you. He's taken the reins from his father. He's learned a lot. And Carmine taught him what he's doing today is what he instilled in all of us. Carmine started this legacy at Deer Park baseball, as you heard earlier. And we also want to thank the superintendent Mr. Jim Cummings and the entire Board of Education. All right, now this gets a little easier for me. 45 years ago in 1980, we were a group of young athletes with one common goal: to bring the very best version of ourselves to the field day in and day out. And tonight, as we stand here accepting the Hall of Fame, I think it's safe to say that goal was not only achieved, but it exceeded in ways we could never have imagined back then. When we think back to the days of 1980, it's easy to focus on a 28-2 record, right? The Suffolk County, the Long Island Championships, the league championship, unforgettable moments, the sheer talent that each of us brought to the game. But what truly made this team special wasn't just individual talent, it was how we meshed together. We were a team. And that word meant a lot to us. It meant that we were there for each other on the field, in the dugout, at every practice. We pushed each other to be better, whether it was long throws across the diamond, a perfect time steal, or a clutch hit when the game was on the line. Joey. We knew we could count on each other, and that all started with our spring training trip to Boca Raton, Florida. Oh boy. What happened in Florida will stay in Florida with this team forever. That's all I can say when you have 17 and 18-year-old boys on a road trip. You can imagine. But all joking aside, Coach Argenziano made a brilliant move in Florida by rooming 2 seniors with 2 juniors in every room. The bonding, the trust, and the chemistry started then. But let's be honest again, talent alone doesn't win games. It was our camaraderie, it was our work ethic, and most importantly, the belief that we were all in this together, and we all started from our coach, Coach Argenziano, who pushed us every practice to be perfect. And if anybody knows Coach A, you know what I'm talking about. And we practiced until there wasn't a mistake, because he kept on going. It was dark outside, and we were still out there. He would hit mile-high fly balls to the infield, like no one ever did. We've never seen a fly ball that high in the air. And if you dropped it, practice wasn't over. He instilled in us not only how to play the game of baseball, but how to be men, how to handle ourselves. I had an inside scoop, obviously, because I was his godson and his nephew. He loved this team, and he put everything he had into it, because since 1975, when he took over this, he knew this team had the opportunity to do something special. He knew about this team. Trust me. He made sure we were focused, ready to play every day, every game, every inning, every at-bat, and every pitch. Of course, there were moments of tension and challenges, because let's face it, what team doesn't have its share of heated moments? An example, in the Suffolk County Championship game versus Comac South, me right here made 2 errors. We had a meeting on the mound. Coach Carmine came out, and our starting pitcher, Sean Miller, there he is, he says to Coach, "Get him the F out of here." Well, I got benched. And thank God we came back to win that game. But looking back, those moments, that's what made us stronger. And let's just say some of those arguments were quickly forgotten once the scoreboard showed that we were indeed on top. But even with all the intense moments and the pressure of the season, we managed to keep things light. The stories, the inside jokes, and the funny moments are what keep us connected today after 45 years. Got 2 examples. One, Joey was at bat, and of course, we all know about the infamous 2-run home run to win the game, right?
Yeah, Joe.
Well, I'm on the bench like everybody else is. We got a man on second base, and that's Lenny Patron. And Joey's getting ready to go up at bat, and his helmet is on backwards. I go, Joe, what are you doing? He goes, what? I go, your helmet's on backwards. And he just laughed. How loose can you be with the game on the line? So the second story is a contrary to that itself. Now, I was at third base to pinch run in the game, and John Brand, I believe, pinched hit that at bat. And Coach Carmine gave us the squeeze sign. And to this day, I'll know that sign till I die. He would do everything you can think of, and he turned your back to the batter, and he put his hand in his back pocket. And the guy on third, which is me, and the batter had to acknowledge with a little brim touch. Well, I touched the brim. John Brand never touched the damn brim. So I turned to Carmine and go, he didn't see the sign. He goes, he better effing seen the sign. So that ended up, obviously, me getting thrown out of third base. So, John, thank you very much. We could have been the heroes of that Long Island Championship game, and our names could have been in the Newsday the next morning as the heroes, and it might not have been a 2-run home run by Joey LaDonna in the bottom of the seventh. Those memories, along with our achievements, have only grown more valuable in time. And while we may have been young men then, we are now a group of individuals who lived full lives, raised families, built careers. But the bond we share, forged on that baseball field, will always be timeless. That sense of unity and that pride in our collective effort is something we will carry with us every day for the rest of our lives. And so tonight, as we stand here together in front of you, of this amazing Deer Park community, with family and true friends, we are filled with gratitude. Grateful for the memories, for the challenges that shaped us, and for the opportunity to be part of something greater than ourselves. We may have been just a high school team in 1980, but here we are today forever, part of a history and legacy of Deer Park baseball. So thank you to you. So thank you. Thank you to our coaches, our families, and of course, to each other. Though it's been 45 years, and I can't believe it's been 45 years, Deer Park will always be home, no matter where we live. It is our honor and our pleasure to accept this. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, just one more thing. I know that went on a little bit longer than we were supposed to, but Joey, are you here tonight, or is there Joey LaDonna here? All right, I have a little memorabilia here. This is a very piece of controversial. This ball sat on our living room mantle for many years, and this was one of my dad's probably most proudest thing he could ever say. This is Joey LaDonna's home run ball, Long Island champs, Deer Park 2, Syosset 0. Home run ball, Joey LaDonna.
Okay, transitioning to our athlete category this evening, I'd like to call up Mike McLaughlin, our current head wrestling coach.
Good evening. If I could call up our first athlete, Mr. Tommy Cox, to join me on stage, please. All right, good evening. First and foremost, congratulations to all of tonight's inductees and in recognition for all their athletic accomplishments. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Mr. Fontana, Mrs. Bastow, the Booster Club, the committee, and everyone who had a hand in putting tonight's event together and making tonight possible. It is an absolute honor and privilege to stand here tonight to induct one of the most relentless, entertaining, and decorated athletes in Deer Park wrestling history into our Hall of Fame, Mr. Tommy Cox. I had the pleasure of coaching Tommy during his 4 years as a wrestler here, and I can say he was an integral part of some of the most memorable and successful teams I've been fortunate enough to coach over the past 22 years. A lot of the team's success during his 4 years here had a lot to do with Thomas and how his infectious work ethic and love for wrestling helped raise our standard and make everyone around him better. It is no accident that he was a part of some of the best wrestling teams in school history. Teams that hold the record for most wins in a season, multiple top 10 team finishes in the county tournament, and a 7th place team finish at the New York State Championships his junior season. He had a hyper focus to be a great wrestler, and a great he was. His resume is nothing short of impressive. His stats are endless. He was a 4-time All-League wrestler, a 3-time league champion, 3-time All-County wrestler, a 3-time county finalist. Only one other wrestler in Deer Park history has made the county finals 3 times. He was a Suffolk County champion in 2016. He was a 2-time All-State wrestler and a New York State champion in 2016. He also won 2 consecutive National High School Coaches Association national championships as well, his junior and senior years. He has the 2nd most wins in school history, having won 168 matches during his 4-year career. He has certainly left his legacy on Deer Park wrestling. His accomplishments, though, only tell part of the story. What made Tommy truly special was the way he carried himself. He may have been a lightweight wrestler when he was here, but there was nothing lightweight about his heart, determination, toughness, intensity, and most certainly his personality. He certainly had a presence and confidence about himself that was hard not to see. His fast pace and intense physical style made him a fan favorite when watching him wrestle. I'm pretty sure, though, his opponents and their parents would disagree. They dreaded wrestling him because they knew they were in for a dogfight, and most could not keep up with his energy and his physicality that he brought to the match every time he stepped on the mat. Sometimes us, as a coaching staff, would try to rein him in, get him to slow down a little bit during matches, but after a while it became pretty apparent there was no slowing him down. You just had to let him go out there, do his thing, be who he was, let him do what he did. And there was no apparent time for this to me than the day of the state championships his senior year.
So a quick story that sums up perfectly for me when I think of Thomas and his time as a Falcon. So the morning of the state finals, Tommy won his semifinal match in the morning. We went back to the hotel, relaxed, got some lunch before the finals that night. And during that time, myself and the other coaches were searching the internet for any footage we could find on his finals opponent. Meanwhile, you know Thomas, you know he already had scouted him and was already prepared. The scouting we did was probably more for my peace of mind than his. So after watching some footage of his opponent, I came up with a plan that I thought the best way Thomas should approach the match. We get back to the arena, I go find Tommy in the warm-up area getting ready. He looks loose, he looks relaxed. I go over to him to tell him what I thought our plan should be, and before I can say a word, he goes to me with this big wide grin on his face. Coach, I hear this guy's a sucker for underhooks, throws, and tie-ups. I'm gonna beat him up top. Now, this is the complete opposite of what I had come up with after watching this kid wrestle. So I look at my other coaches, I look at Thomas, and now here we are, probably less than an hour away from him wrestling, and we're all laughing. And at that point, I just said to him, you know what? You ready? You got this. Go get it done. And of course, in true Thomas fashion, he showed up on the biggest stage of our sport, ready to go, and won himself a state title, making him our 4th state champion in school history. He went on to wrestle at North Carolina State University, a program at the time that was on the rise, and like the lasting impression and legacy he left on Deer Park Wrestling, he did the same, helping North Carolina State become a perennial top 10 Division I program year in and year out these days. It was a pleasure to be your coach, and it's a great honor to welcome you into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Tommy.
Up next, I'd like to call up Dr. Donatelli to induct our next athlete.
I'd like to ask Teddy DePasquale to come up to the stage. It is my distinct privilege to present to you tonight Ted DePasquale as a newly inducted member to the Deer Park Sports Hall of Fame class of 2025. I've known Teddy, and I'm willing to change calling him Ted and Teddy since I've known him since he was in elementary school. I've known Teddy as a hard-nosed football player from the Knights of Columbus Football League where I coached. After football, I knew him as a young wrestler on the Deer Park wrestling team that was eager to wrestle with me as a college wrestler home for the Christmas holidays. Most recently, I've known him as a courageous New York City firefighter who worked with my two brothers, a stalwart in promoting female wrestling on Long Island and in New York State, and a mentor to my son Glenn as he entered the elite ranks in the sport at the state and national levels. Ted started wrestling at Deer Park High School as a freshman in 1978 under Coach Ed Rooney. After gaining invaluable varsity wrestling experience during the high school season, Ted qualified for the inaugural Empire State Games in Syracuse this summer and earned a bronze medal there. As a sophomore under Coach Ed Luxick and Coach Tony Melosi, he had a 14-1-3 regular season record and placed third in Conference 1, earning his first trip to the Section 11 Suffolk County Wrestling Championships. In the spring of his sophomore year, he won his first New York State Freestyle Wrestling Championship, earning him a trip to the University of Iowa as a member of Team New York to compete in the United States Wrestling Federation National Championships that summer. In Iowa, he became the 121-pound freestyle national champion in the 16 and under cadet division. In his junior year, Teddy finished the regular season with a 19-1 record. As the 6th-ranked competitor in the 126-pound weight class, Ted upset the number 3, the number 2, and finally the number 1 seeded wrestlers to become the Suffolk County champion, earning him his first trip to the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Championships. The experience was invaluable as he went on that spring to become both the New York State Freestyle Champion and the New York State Greco-Roman Wrestling Champion, earning him his 2nd trip to the National Championships in Iowa. That summer in Iowa, Ted made it to the finals of the Greco-Roman tournament, earning the silver medal. In his senior year at Deer Park, Teddy had an undefeated regular season and won the Suffolk County Championship at 132 pounds, earning his 2nd trip to the New York State tournament. There he made it to the finals, achieving the silver medal and cementing his place in the lore of Deer Park wrestling history as one of only a handful of Deer Park wrestlers to have been able to achieve that accomplishment. He ended his illustrious high school career by once again earning freestyle and Greco-Roman state titles and making it to the National Wrestling Federation finals in Iowa, once again to earn his 2nd silver medal in as many years. Ted credits his high school success to Coach Rooney, Coach Luxick, and Coach Malosi, who's in the audience tonight. Who were all members in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Coach Luxick, of course, is also a member of the Deer Park Sports Hall of Fame. In addition to wrestling, Ted was a member of the Deer Park ice hockey team. He played football in his sophomore year, and he ran cross country in his junior and senior years. He was a member of the National Honor Society and was president of the Deer Park Varsity Club as a senior. Ted attended Hofstra University on a wrestling scholarship where he was coached by Deer Park Sports Hall of Fame and National Wrestling Hall of Famer Nick Gallo, also in the audience tonight. While at Hofstra, he was fortunate enough to have his high school coach, Tony Malosi, join the staff. To make the high school to college transition even more comfortable, Deer Park teammates Phil Matera and Joe Downey also wrestled for Hofstra at that time. At Hofstra, Teddy was a 4-year starter, 3-time East Coast Conference place winner, 2-time finalist, and 1-time champion, allowing him to qualify for the Big Dance, the NCAA Division I championships. Since college, Teddy has remained as active as ever in the sport of wrestling. After competing for Hofstra, he began as a graduate assistant at the university, followed by becoming an assistant coach through 1989. He left Hofstra when he became a permanent substitute teacher at MacArthur High School, where he coached alongside another Deer Park wrestling legend and National Wrestling Hall of Famer, Howie Greenblatt. Ted became a New York City firefighter in 1990 and represented them in the World Fire and Police Games, where he won a gold medal in Greco-Roman wrestling and a silver medal in freestyle wrestling. Ted was promoted to lieutenant in 2002 and retired from the FDNY in 2016. In 2005, Ted established the Razor Wrestling Club, a not-for-profit organization. Razor supports youth, high school, and college wrestling programs on Long Island through scholarships and financial support. One of the scholarships established by Ted is the Ed Luxick Memorial Scholarship, named after longtime Deer Park wrestling coach, teacher, and mentor Ed Luxick. Until his passing, Coach Luxick guided Ted for many years after high school and helped him transition into post-competition wrestling. The scholarship is given annually at the Section 11 All-County Wrestling Dinner to both a boy wrestler and a girl wrestler who exemplify outstanding achievement in the classroom as well as on the wrestling mat. Ted has served on the board of New York USA Wrestling for the past several years in the capacities of youth wrestling director and most recently as the women's wrestling director. Ted was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2022. Ted resides in East Setauket with his wife Debbie, his daughter Justine and husband Mike, along with his daughter Gianna, granddaughter Ivy, and fiancé Tawid, also live in East Setauket. On June 4th, 2020, I had the distinction of writing a letter supporting Teddy's induction into that National Wrestling Hall of Fame. I ended my letter with, I am confident that as a Hall of Fame member, Ted would continue the tradition of representing our group with the highest level of personal integrity and honor. I'm proud to see how prophetic I was, as Ted has been a stellar representative of the Hall, who has done all that was expected of him and more. Please join me tonight in welcoming Ted DePasquale as the newest inductee of the Deer Park Sports Hall of Fame class of 2025.
Our next presenter is our head boys basketball coach, Mr. John McCaffrey.
Good evening. First and foremost, I want to congratulate all the great athletes, legendary teams, and coaches that are getting honored tonight. This is an incredible night. I especially want to congratulate one of my former softball players who's getting inducted tonight by her former teammate and the current softball coach and her best friend, and that's Sabrina Riley. Congratulations, Sabrina. I also want to thank some of my boys basketball players that are here tonight. They put on some of their fanciest sweats and pajama bottoms to come down here and honor one of the best basketball players in Deer Park history. I've been looking forward to giving this speech since the Deer Park Hall of Fame was created because I knew this day would come. What Dom and Helen and others have created with this Deer Park Hall of Fame was a long time coming, and they have done an incredible job. It's a real special thing, and I want to say thank you. Tonight we're going to talk about Malik Edmead. Malik Edmead was a 4-year varsity player, a 3-year varsity starter at point guard, class of 2020 class graduate. Malik's teams went 61-28 in his 4 years, including 46-8 in league play. Malik played in the playoffs all 4 years, winning a total of 6 playoff games. Malik's teams won the league championship 3 times, reached the quarterfinals of the Elite 8 all 4 years, reached the Final Four twice, reached the county final once. For his tremendous career, Malik was named 3-time All-League, All-Conference, All-County, 2-time All-Around, and 2-time All-State. Malik, in his career, scored 1,690 points. He grabbed 369 rebounds, dished out 317 career assists, and had 281 career steals. In Malik's senior year, we lost a game here at home, and we had to win our remaining games, our last 4 regular season games, to win the league championship. Malik's final 7 games of his senior year, as good as any basketball player can play. The first game that we had to win was at West Islip. It was a rematch of a game that we lost without him. It was the worst loss of my coaching career. Malik was out with a hip injury. Malik came back. We played them at West Islip. With Malik, we won 88-33. Malik was done at the half. He played 13 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. He scored his 1,500th career point in that game. The following Saturday on Malik's senior day, we had to win again. We presented him with a ball for scoring his 1,500th career point at West Islip. We hosted Smithtown East. Malik didn't play in the 4th quarter. We won by 28. He scored 21 points, had 4 assists and 6 rebounds. At East Islip, who we had previously beat at home in overtime, in a game where we outscored East Islip 17-0 in a 4-minute overtime, I'm going to correct that. Malik scored all 17 points in the overtime. By himself. In that game, Malik scored 44 points, which was his career high. In the rematch, Malik scored 30 points, had 8 assists, 5 rebounds. We won that game by 6. At Belport, which was their senior night, we had to win the game in order to win the league championship. Malik took us home. He scored 37 points. He had 16 rebounds. If you take a look at Malik, he might be 5'10". He had 16 rebounds and 3 assists. We won the game by 4. In the first round of the playoffs, we were the 4 seed. We hosted Smithtown West. Many pundits on social media predicted that they were going to beat us. They did not. Malik had 32 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds. Quarterfinal game at home, last game Malik ever played in this gym, was probably the best offensive performance of any team I've ever coached. Central Islip came into the gym. They had a good guard of their own, Tyshawn Pinnell. They had beaten us earlier in the year in overtime at their place in a game that Malik fouled out in the first overtime. Malik played literally a perfect game. He had 26 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds. We won by 11. In the semifinals, we played the number 2 ranked team in the state, Brentwood. Brentwood was 21-1. They had lost 1 game at the buzzer to Boys and Girls High School. Now that team that Malik was on his senior year, his brother Preston was on the team. Preston was in 8th grade. I don't think he could ride a roller coaster. He was about 5'2". He was a fantastic player, but it was going to be a tough spot against Brentwood that was big and seniors. And we had another kid that was a really good 3-point shooter. Between him and Preston, I don't know if combined they weighed 200 pounds. So we talked to Malik before the game. I actually grabbed Malik after our walkthrough and I said, listen, Malik, you know, Preston's young. We're in the county semis. There's going to be 4,000 people there. While other shooter is young, like, I may need you to go for 50 tonight, Malik. Like, we may need that. And he said, you know, no problem. He scored 42. And we lost. And we lost that game. We had lost to them by 19 earlier in the year. Nobody thought we could be competitive with them because outside of Malik, we were very young. But Malik, he was a force of nature. There's no other way to describe it. In those last 7 games his senior year, Malik averaged 28.5 points per game, 5.4 assists, 7.4 rebounds. He shot 59% from 2, which is obscene for a 5'9" guard. He shot 50% from 3 and 74% from the foul line. In the playoffs, he scored 33 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. People ask me this all the time. You know, we have a brand new gym, thanks to the board and district office and Dom. We have a beautiful brand new gym floor. In my house, we call it the house that the Ed Meads built. We'd had Ed Mead point guards for 11 seasons, and I was incredibly blessed. And each one of them contributed to our program really taking off. And people ask me all the time, who was the best Ed Mead? I get asked that question all the time by people in Deer Park and people outside of Deer Park. I can tell you one thing for sure, despite what he will tell you, it's not Dad John. He is not the best of the infants. Aaron is also a Deer Park Hall of Famer, class of 2023, first Hall of Famer. For us, he was, if you're a basketball fan, he was Maurice Cheeks. He was the point guard on the 1983 76ers team with Dr. J and Moses Malone. Aaron was like, he was like our Derek Jeter. Preston, who's now playing point guard at Hofstra, was a 3-year point guard for us. He's a right-handed Jalen Brunson, if you're a Knick fan, which you should be. And Malik was a high school version in his prime of Russell Westbrook. He was just the most incredible athlete you've ever seen, and could do things that, you know, were incredible. He's now playing at Merrimack on a full Division I scholarship. He's their starting point guard. In a couple of weeks, they're going to be playing against Auburn in Florida. And the Saturday after Thanksgiving, he's going to be playing against Preston when Merrimack plays Hofstra. Oh, Preston, you better lace up, buddy. I present to you a Hall of Fame person, a Hall of Fame kid from a Hall of Fame family, Malik Gedby.
Okay, at this time I would like to recall up Dr. Donatelli.
I'd like to call up Mr. Mark Ganser. When Mr. Fontana asked me to present Mark Ganser to you tonight as a 2025 inductee into the Deer Park Sports Hall of Fame, I could say nothing other than it would be my distinct honor. Mark and I were teammates on the Deer Park Falcon football team, as well as classmates from the graduating class of 1976. I also consider Mark a mentor. Before I talk about all of Mark's accomplishments and where sports have taken him along life's path, I want to let you know how Mark has influenced me. Deer Park School District in the mid-70s had one of the top 10 enrollments across Suffolk County. Leagues were determined by school population, and Deer Park was in League 2 back then. There was only one county championship for most sports. There were virtually no big school, small school differentiations. Deer Park had 5 elementary schools and 2 middle schools, all filled to capacity, that emptied into a high school of sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Freshmen were middle schoolers. Many of us did not even meet until 10th grade. Because Mark and I grew up on opposite sides of town, we met for the first time as 10th graders at football tryouts. Bill Britt was the high school football coach, and Vinny Huzak was the assistant coach. Bill Bellis was the JV coach. Coach Britt brought 3 sophomores up to preseason varsity practice. Mark, Gary Purrs, a 275-pound preseason All-American as a senior, and me. Coach Britt was smart enough to drop the runt to let her back down to JV before the first game, especially since he already had all-leaguer Victor Linnell at the same position. That runt would be me. What that runt learned from Victor and Mark over that 3-week preseason was invaluable. Mark was 6'2" and had an ounce of fat on him. Still that way. I remember the first time I saw him play and realized he was a man amongst boys. Though an extremely talented athlete, Mark was humble and respectful of all the people around him. He was a natural leader, and people lined up to be led by him. The 3 weeks of preseason football as a sophomore that I shared with Mark was enlightening and life-changing. I was watching firsthand the growth of a born leader. I learned from Mark how a real leader conducts himself. I learned from Mark how a real leader earns respect from his teammates and coaches and doesn't command it. When I became captain of the wrestling team the next year, I often asked myself, how would Mark Ganser handle this? Later in life, when I became captain of my college wrestling team, I was still asking myself, what would Mark Ganser do in this situation? Mark stands as one of the most accomplished multi-sport athletes in Deer Park sports history. He was a 3-sport varsity letterman who excelled in football, lacrosse, and basketball, and he left an indelible mark on Falcon athletics. From 1974 to 1976, Mark was a 3-year varsity starter in football, showing remarkable versatility playing running back, linebacker, punter, and finally quarterback. He captained the Falcons in both his junior and senior years, earning All-League honors in 1975 and both All-League and All-County honors in 1976. He inherited a winless team and made them a playoff team by the time he graduated. He made everybody around him better and encouraged them to play up to their utmost potential. His poise under pressure, his leadership, and his ability to excel wherever the team needed him to made him the kind of player all coaches dream of having. As good a football player as Mark was, he was equally or more dominant in lacrosse. Mark was captain of the lacrosse team in 1975 and 1976. He led the Deer Park Falcons to back-to-back league championships in both of those years as the starting midfielder. The 1976 squad won 17 games with only one loss, completing one of the finest seasons in the program's history. Mark earned All-League and All-County honors in 1975 and 1976 and set the school record for single-season assists by a midfielder during his tenure. He was known for his playmaking and non-selfish style and elevated everyone around him while setting the standard for what it meant to wear a Deer Park lacrosse jersey. Finally, Mark also earned a varsity letter in basketball in his senior year, completing the rare trifecta of 3 different sports and 3 different disciplines that showcased his versatility, athletic ability, and drive. Mark was honored for his athletic achievements by being selected to the Suffolk County Football All-Star South Team, as well as being selected to the Long Island Lacrosse All-Star Showcase. He was voted the most outstanding male athlete of Deer Park High School in 1976, in addition to being voted BMOC, Big Man on Campus, by his 1976 classmates. After graduating from Deer Park High School, Mark continued his athletic and academic career at the University of New Hampshire, where he played both football and lacrosse and earned a degree in animal and biological sciences. Beyond athletics, Mark went on to an impressive professional career. After early years in Boston and New York, he moved to the Washington, D.C. area, where he became a multiple award-winning sales and business leader in the information technology professional services industry. In 1989, Mark and 2 partners founded their own company, which was later acquired by a large publicly traded firm. There he served as regional vice president, leading teams that achieved record revenue and growth. Since 2013, he has continued that success as owner and president of his own company. Mark met his wife Cheryl at the University of Maryland, graduate in 1988, and they've been happily married since 1991. They have 3 children, all college educated and thriving in their own careers. Mark and Cheryl are now the proud grandparents of a 2.5-year-old grandson. Mark has given back to the game that gave him so much. He's coached youth lacrosse and mentored young athletes. His coaching philosophy has been teach them how to practice. A simple message, but one that has helped prepare countless players for success at future levels. When asked what lessons sport has taught him, Mark reflects on values that have guided his life: resilience, accountability, teamwork, and leadership. He says, team sports teach lessons you cannot learn in the classroom about perseverance, trust, and the power of working together toward a shared goal. Mark often recalls the words of his Hall of Fame lacrosse coach, Warren Deutsch. Before every game, Coach Deutsch would remind his players, whatever happens today, the sun will come up tomorrow. That message has helped his teams play loose, confident, and fearless. Today, Mark remains as active as ever. He stays fit through cycling, swimming, golf, and regular workouts, still living the lessons he learned right here at Deer Park High School. So tonight, we honor not only an outstanding athlete, teammate, leader, mentor, husband, business owner, friend, father, and grandfather, but a man who represents the very best of what it means to be a Deer Park Falcon. Please join me tonight in congratulating Mark Ganser, Deer Park High School Sports Hall of Fame inductee class of 2025.
At this time, I'd like to call up then track coach, now Deer Park Superintendent, Mr. Jim Cummins.
All right, good evening, everyone. It is my honor as the current superintendent, former coach here at Deer Park High School, to be part of tonight's celebration, recognizing these outstanding teams, athletes, and other honorees as we welcome a new class into the Deer Park Hall of Fame. I just want to take a second to thank our athletic director, Don Fontana, his assistant, Helen, for their efforts in getting this off the ground 3 years ago. It's really become one of the best events of the year in Deer Park. So congratulations to everyone getting in tonight. Congratulations to everyone who's gotten in for the last 2 years. And thank you, Dom and Helen, for putting this together. So tonight, I get to speak about a previous life as when I was a coach. I have the distinct honor of speaking on behalf of one of our inductees, someone I had the privilege of coaching for 3 years in cross country and track and field, Kishana Hudson. Now, obviously, with track and field, somebody gets inducted into the Hall of Fame because of the times they run, the distances they jump. But before I talk about Kishana's accomplishments, I really think it's important to talk about her impact, not just her medals and records, but what she meant to the Deer Park track program as a whole. When I arrived in Deer Park in 1997, the track program was not necessarily at full strength. There wasn't a dedicated girls cross-country team. The winter track team had dwindled, I think, to a handful of girls, and the spring track numbers were low. Then came Kishana. As a freshman, prior to my becoming the coach, she was already all-league, all-division, but as a sophomore, she brought the program instant respect. She quickly became one of the top runners in both the county and the state. And again, that's not really why I remember her. When I think about Kishana, I think about somebody who was a leader, a role model, a mentor to some of the other girls, a hard worker, and at times she became a mythical figure in the school and in the county. She made it cool to be on the track team. We were struggling getting girls, and then suddenly girls were leaving basketball and coming to run track, right? We got a couple of girls out there who we stole from basketball to run with the track. But that was really all because of Kishana. Everybody wanted to be like Kishana, be around Kishana. She really became like a mythical figure. Over the next few years, our numbers grew dramatically. And our track program blossomed into one of the strongest and most consistent girls' sports at Deer Park High School, and we became a force in the county. And that legacy continues today. But Kishana was more than an athlete. She was a well-rounded student. She was a leader. She was a member of the National Honor Society. She was on the principal's honor roll throughout high school, played the clarinet, participated in DECA, and graduated with the Principal's Award, Golden Key Award, and Triple Sport Award in 2000. On the track, unlike Anthony Tanico, I'm not going to sit up here and talk all night. Sorry, right. On the track, Kishana was a 3-year captain, team MVP for both winter and spring track. She excelled in the long jump, and then showed her versatility as a sprinter, dominating in the 55, the 100, the 200, the 300, sometimes the 400. I know you hate me for that, and the relays. There was a couple of funny stories with Kishana. Anybody that's ever coached girls knows that it's kind of the best, the best of times and the worst of times, and when you wake up that day, you're not sure what time it's going to be. And for some reason, it always involved shoes. So one day, we used to run up in Stony Brook, the indoor meets, and we're getting ready for, it was like a county championship, and Kashana was running the 300, and the coaches used to have to stand up top and look down on the track. And Kashana, as fast as she was on the track, might have been the slowest person at getting her shoes on. So she's on the track, the blocks are out, and I see her, she's messing with her shoe, and she's doing something. I'm going, oh my God, I don't know who I was talking to. I'm going, what the heck is she doing? And I go, the gun is gonna go off, she's not gonna be ready. She's playing with her shoe, gun goes off, there goes Kashana. She's got a little funny gait to her. I'm going, oh, she hurt, what's going on? Is something wrong with her shoe? Ultimately, she wins the race. I go running down, I go, what happened? All I get is comments. I got my nails done yesterday, it broke, and if you think I'm losing my nail, so she stuck her nail in her shoe, and ran the 300 meter in the county championship with the nail in her shoe. I said, I didn't call you new nails. So then, of course, another shoe incident. We're at the Suffolk County Championship, and our team became known for the prowess of the 4x1, and we were the favorite that day. And it was getting dark, and we're right in the mix. And Kashana ran anchor, and I'm in the bleachers, and the exchange goes down over by the curve, the far curve, and I don't know, something happened. I see something go on with the pass, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. And with that, a shoe goes flying in the air. But then out comes Kashana out of the curve with one shoe on, in dead last. And this girl almost tracked down every single anchor runner with one shoe on. We wound up coming in third that day, but the following, now, we've talked about sports tonight and perseverance and what sports teaches you. And so when something goes wrong like that on a big stage, you could say, wow, that's enough to make somebody start to think they've changed to this. Following year, we get into the county championship. We're in the 4x1 to get to the States, and coming around the curve, and we were in, I don't even remember what place we're in. She has to catch a couple of people to get into the anchor, and let me tell you, she delivered. She chased down 1, 2, 3, 4 runners, and we wound up winning the county championship. And that's the thing that I think I remember most about Kashana, is that she was clutch. She came up big in a big spot, county meets, state meets, league meets, she always came up big. So now talk a little bit about some of her records. She has school records that still stand today in the long jump, the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the 300 meters. I'm not going to give you times because, for people that don't know track, those don't matter. At the time, she also held the Suffolk County record for the 55-meter dash in the county meet, and 10 of those years, she shared the record with Chief Rahal, who's in the audience tonight. And to this day, that record remains a Deer Park school record, and so it's been standing strong for 26 years. Wow. The other thing that really, to me, makes Kashana special is, track and field is very much an individual sport. But for whatever reason, Kashana always thrived, relished the moments that she got to run on the relay races. And for her, I think winning as a team was always more important to her than any of the individual accolades that she got. And so she was the anchor runner on some of the best relays in Suffolk County. We still have school records in the 4x2, the 4x1. Those have endured for 25 years, which is an unbelievable accomplishment. Individually, in her senior year, Kashana placed 5th at Eastern States Championships in the 55-meter dash, competed in nationals, finishing in the top 30 in the country. By the time her high school career ended, she had been honored all league in 8 different seasons and in multiple events, all county in 6 different seasons, and often in multiple events. She was a multiple-time All-State honoree, qualifying for the New York State Championship 6 times, often in multiple individual events. She was really, there's really no words to describe what she meant to this program. And to this day, there are girls in this high school still shooting and trying to beat her record. After graduation, Kishana accepted a full scholarship to run at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, where she's continued to excel as an NCAA Division I athlete, contributing to the success of the UMass Women's track and field program. She graduated in 2004 as a scholar athlete with a bachelor's degree in economics. Kishana's achievements speak for themselves, but to me, what truly sets her apart is the pride, the determination, and the quiet leadership that she brought to every race, every practice, and every teammate. She didn't just set records, she set a standard. It is with great pride and respect that I congratulate Kishana Hudson, class of 2000.
Okay, to talk about our next three inductees, I'd like to call up Mr. Garrett Noblet.
Thank you, Mr. Fontana. First, I want to congratulate my classmate, Kishana. Congratulations again, class of 2000. We used to race all the time. Mr. Cummings used to bring us all to the track, and the football team would come and we'd all train together. And she says I never beat her, but I think she's right. Good evening, everyone. It is a true honor to stand here tonight and recognize someone who embodies excellence, leadership, and integrity both on and off the field, a person that I know as Mr. Mack, Mr. Michael McLaughlin. I know how much you love standing, Mr. Mack. I know you do. Now, this is particularly special for me, not because Mike is just a name in our school's record books or a legend on the lacrosse field here at Deer Park. He also happens to be the father of my best friend, John, who we grew up with since we were about, I don't know, what, 6 or 7? Probably about that. You see, those of us who grew up in Deer Park know that we were raised kind of by the town and by the people in the town. And I'm proud to say that Mr. Mack and his high school sweetheart, who I affectionately know as Mrs. Mack, were part of my story. So, I thank you for that as well. So while many of the people here know him as a Hall of Fame athlete, I've had the privilege of knowing him as a man behind the accomplishments. Mike's legacy at Deer Park is truly something to behold. Back in 1977, the school looked very different, only grades 10 through 12, and about 3 times the number of students who have it today. Despite the size and expectation that every student would start on a JV football team, Mike's talent stood out instantly. As a 10th grader, he earned a spot on the varsity football team, and by his senior year, he became an all-county standout and as a team captain. Mike was also a 3-year starter on the lacrosse team, earning all-county honors as a defenseman in both his junior and senior years. He was a key part of a team ranked as high as 3rd in the state, leading them as a captain through an undefeated regular season. His leadership and grit set the tone for a team that made history. And Mr. Mack, John wanted me to say if there were any pictures up there with you in those short shorts. I know. That passion and excellence carried him to the Division I level at the United States Naval Academy, where he was a 4-year varsity starter in lacrosse. He earned 13 All-American honors as a sophomore and was named first-team All-American in both his junior and senior seasons. Chosen by his teammates, he served as captain in his senior year, a testament to his leadership on a national stage. His contributions to the sport of lacrosse have not gone unnoticed. Mike has been inducted into the Naval Lacrosse Hall of Fame, where his personal gear is proudly displayed in the museum at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. And just last year, in 2024, he was honored once again, this time with an induction into the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Hall of Fame, joining some of the greatest names in the sport's history. And if anybody knows anything about lacrosse in Long Island, it is a vast history. But Mike's story doesn't end with athletics. After graduating from the Naval Academy, he served our country with distinction, 8 years on active duty as a Navy pilot, followed by 8 years in the reserves. After his service for 35 years, he continued to take to the skies, this time with American Airlines, flying passengers across the country and piloting around the world until his retirement just about a year ago. Through it all, Mike has remained humble, kind, and deeply committed to his family, his community, and his values. As someone who's had the chance to know him, not just as an athlete or a veteran, but as a father and a role model, I can tell you his greatest legacy might just be the quiet strength and character he brings to everyday life. Mr. Mack now resides in New Hampshire and is the proud grandfather to 6 beautiful grandchildren. So tonight, we don't just honor and celebrate the accolades, we celebrate the man, a Falcon, a midshipman, a pilot, a Hall of Famer, and a hero in more ways than one. Congratulations, Mr. Mack. Okay, next, we not only honor one member of the McLaughlin family, but 2, his son, Michael R. McLaughlin. Mike is one of the most accomplished and well-rounded student athletes to ever walk the halls of Deer Park High School. His induction into the Deer Park Athletic Hall of Fame not only recognizes his incredible achievements as a 3-sport athlete, but also celebrates his lasting impact as a coach, mentor, and role model in our community. Mike was the kind of athlete every coach dreams of, driven, selfless, and fiercely competitive. He earned an astonishing 13 varsity letters during his time at Deer Park, 4 in soccer, 4 in lacrosse, and 5 in wrestling. A rare and remarkable accomplishment that speaks to his work ethic and versatility. On the soccer field, Mike was a 4-year starter in goal and the backbone of every team he played on. As captain of the 97-98 squad, he led the Falcons to a league championship and a 2nd place finish in the county. His consistency, leadership, and poise under pressure earned him all league honors 3 years in a row. And Mike will also tell you that Mike is the sole reason for me becoming a football player here at Deer Park High School, because I couldn't beat him out of the goal. It wasn't happening. So, it worked out for me. Thanks, Mike. And I'll tell a funny story too. The one game I got to start, and I'm sure you remember this, Mike, the one game I got to start, see, we never had lights or turf or anything like that, obviously, with most of the people here in Deer Park. So we played night games at Birchwood, which was the only field that had lights here. And we played John Glenn the week before. I had been playing, they sent me down to JV to play goalkeeper down there and field a little bit. And when I got off, I said, "What's up, Mike? How you doing?" He's like, "You're starting on Saturday against Hills West." I'm like, he was just around me, so I just laughed. But he was serious because he ended up getting a red card that game. And I ended up starting that game, and we won at Hills West, but it wasn't really, I do remember the one thing. He took me under his arm because I was scared crapless. I wouldn't know what I was doing. And it was under the bright lights, and back then that was a big deal. And Mike helped me out that whole week and took me under his arm, and I never really thanked you for that, but I'm going to thank you for it now. In lacrosse, Mike's leadership and physical dominance stood out just as much. He was a captain his junior and senior years, serving as both a relentless face-off specialist and a top-tier offensive threat. Winning over 70% of his career face-offs, he helped Deer Park compete in one of the nation's toughest public high school lacrosse leagues. He led the team in points in 3 of his 4 seasons and was recognized as a 2-time All-League selection and All-County honoree as a senior. Then there was wrestling, where Mike's grit and determination truly shined. Under the mentorship of Hall of Fame coach Ed Luxick, Mike stepped onto the varsity mat as a 7th grader, earning his first varsity letter by 8th grade. Over the next several years, he compiled 96 career wins, earning 5 varsity letters and accolades including 3-time All-League selection, 2-time league champion, 2-time All-County selection, and a county runner-up as a senior. In 1996, Mike was selected to Team Long Island for the Empire State Games, a testament to his talent on the state level. And a crowning achievement, he received the Suffolk County Gold Key Award, the highest honor an athlete in Section 11 can receive for dedication, performance, and excellence across multiple sports. Mike's story doesn't end with his playing days. His love for Deer Park and passion for athletics have carried on more than 2 decades. He is now entering his 23rd season as a coach with the Deer Park Wrestling Program, and his 17th as a head coach. Through his leadership, he helped shape the next generation of student athletes, giving back to the program that helped shape him, including coaching 2 state champions. He is the proud father of Finley and Mike, and as I know, Mike is excited to continue watching his children grow on the athletic fields as well. Mike embodies what it means to be a Falcon as well. Tough, committed, all heart. His contributions on the field, on the mat, and on the sidelines have left an indelible mark on our school, students, and our community. Tonight, we are proud to welcome him into the Deer Park Athletic Hall of Fame, where he rightfully belongs. So being an assistant principal here and coming from the community, I know a lot of people. So that's why I'm up here many times doing this, but it's great. I love doing it. I do it every year. It's awesome. This time, I get to honor one of my coaches. I'd like to call up Pat Policastro. It's a tremendous honor to stand before you and recognize Pat as we welcome him into the Deer Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Pat's story is one of talent, dedication, leadership, and heart, both on and off the court. As a student athlete at Deer Park, Pat was a force in 2 sports, basketball and soccer. On the basketball court, he was a 3-year varsity starter, a 2-time All-League selection, All-County, All-Long Island, and a member of the All-County tournament team his senior year. He led the Falcons to 2 league championships and finished his career as the second player at that time in school history to score over 1,000 points. In his senior season, Pat ranked 3rd in all of Suffolk County in scoring, a true testament to his skill, determination, and love for the game. He carried that passion to the collegiate level, continuing his basketball career at Sacred Heart University, where he represented Deer Park with pride and continued to grow as a player and leader. But what truly makes Pat special is his contributions to Deer Park didn't end with his playing days. He came back, giving back to the very community that raised him. Pat served as an assistant varsity soccer coach for 5 years, and then became the head of the varsity basketball team where he mentored athletes for over a decade. To the players he coached, Pat just wasn't someone who drew up plays and ran practices. He was a teacher, a motivator, a role model, and above all, a genuinely kind and caring person. He coached with integrity, patience, and passion, always putting the growth of his players ahead of wins and losses. There was plenty of wins as well to go around. If you talk to anyone who played for Pat or coached alongside him, one word always comes up: respect. He earned it not just through his achievements, but through the way he treated people, with warmth, humility, and a constant willingness to listen, guide, and support. Polly, as we knew him, left a lasting mark not only on Deer Park athletics, but on the lives of everyone who had the privilege to know him. Tonight, we don't just honor Pat Policastro, the athlete, or Pat Policastro, the coach. We honor Pat Policastro, the person, a man who embodied what it means to be a Falcon. Again, hardworking, loyal, and kind. It is with great pride and gratitude that we induct Pat Policastro into the Deer Park Athletics School Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Coach, and thank you for everything.
Okay, unless Garrett Nobler wants to just keep going and take over the rest of the evening, I'll call up Miss Marie Ricano, our current head softball coach.
Mr. Noblet is a lot taller than I am. Good evening, everybody. Congratulations to all of the athletes, coaches, and teams who are honored tonight. Your recognition is truly deserved. Tonight, it is my pleasure to call up Sabrina Riley. On my senior day, many years ago, Sabrina made my poster that hung in the fence and delivered my speech. Tonight, it is my pleasure to be the one to speak on her behalf as she gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. Sabrina was a 4-year varsity starter on the softball team. As a freshman, she was a starting center fielder. The rest of her career, the starting shortstop. Throughout these years, Sabrina was part of 3 teams that reached the playoffs. She appeared with her team in the Elite 8 and Final Four for 3 seasons, and on 1 season in 2011, all the way to the county championship, where we played side by side. Throughout her years wearing number 14 on her back, Sabrina tallied impressive stats, including a career batting average of .438. She scored 117 runs while driving in 55. Sabrina had 124 hits, 20 of which were doubles, 13 triples, and 6 home runs. She also impressed with her speed, stealing 40 career bases. During her tenure, Sabrina would be recognized as Rookie of the Year and a 3-time All-League, All-Division, All-County athlete. Her performances during her playoff runs would also name her to the Large School Playoff All-Tournament Team, Newsday's 2nd Team All-Long Island, 4th Team All-New York State, and League 4 Player of the Year runner-up. Though an extremely decorated athlete, this is not the most important thing I remember about my friend as my teammate. I remember her being a selfless leader. She offered to play shortstop when the team needed one, where she wanted to be in the outfield. I don't know too many people who would do that, and do it extremely well at that. She exuded confidence while being extremely humble at the same time. No matter her success, It was her team she wanted to play for, and their success she wanted. She was the first person to show up to a practice and the last one to leave, always looking for ways to improve her craft. The first person to applaud her teammate when they succeeded, and the first to motivate someone who needed a little encouragement. I am sure that if you asked any of her former teammates, they would say that she was the best kind of teammate you could have. And if you asked any of her coaches here in the room tonight, they would say she's one of the best to do it in a Falcon uniform. Softball is how Sabrina and I met, and I remember so many fun memories while playing here together. The highlight of our week had to be stopping at Dunkin' Donuts down the road and meeting Coach McCaffrey in the batting cage bright and early before school started, just to get in some extra reps. I remember the pasta parties, the tough losses, the incredible victories, and looking to my left and seeing my friends during every inning of every game through it all. Sabrina was the epitome of a student athlete, taking advanced classes and being part of various clubs and activities. She did it all, and she did it well. Sabrina went on to become a Division II athlete at Lemoyne College on scholarship. Though her playing there turned us into enemies on the field as we played against each other a few times, I couldn't have been more proud of her. She continued her successes both on the field and in the classroom, and she quickly became an integral part of their program. If you ask Sabrina, she would say that her time at Deer Park High School played a huge part in who she is today, and how grateful she is for all of her teammates, coaches, and faculty who supported her. Though throughout this speech I spoke of Sabrina's characteristics in the past, I assure you that all of them are still true today. Sabrina is hardworking, passionate, loyal, and stands out among others in all that she takes on in her life. She never takes no for an answer and does not stop until what she set out to do is done. She looks out for others and is quick to lend a helping hand, just as she did all those years ago on the field. She is so much more than an athlete. She is one of the best people I know. She's a wonderful daughter, sister, wife, and to this day, she is my best friend. Congratulations, Sabrina, on your Hall of Fame induction. You are so very deserving of this recognition.
Okay, next I'd like to call up Mr. Rich Asner.
Call up Ray Searage. You right, Nathan? Well, Ray Searage made it big time. Ray Searage was a professional baseball player. Ray pitched for the Mets, the Brewers, the Red Sox, and the Dodgers. But his foundation started here at Deer Park High School. Ray was, it was the first time you didn't join baseball. You had to try out. You had to make the team. Then you had to compete against your friends for a starting position or to get the rotation. So it was like a training for what was ahead. In 1972, we went down to Florida as a team. And I don't know if you ever saw these Hampton jitneys with the big seats and the television set staggered through that. Yeah, we didn't take one of those. But it didn't matter, because when you go down to Florida, you have the Grand Floridian, you have the Dolphin, the Swan, the World Marriott, all these beautiful hotels. We didn't stay at any of those. If my memory serves me, we stayed at Motel 5. But it was unbelievable, and what was ahead for Ray. The spring training, the lessons in the morning, the practice in the afternoon, the games at night. It was baseball, you're away from your family. It was great training for what was ahead for Ray. In 1973, Ray, me, Randy Levin, and Kevin McHugh went to see the national championship game, the New York Mets against the Cincinnati Reds. Tom Seaver was pitching that day for the Mets. As fate would have it, 8 years later, Ray was at Shea, pitching against the Cincinnati Reds, making his debut. Ironically, the opposing pitcher was Tom Seaver. Wasn't, besides Mark, his mother and father, they were the only three people that were rooting for Ray that day. But Ray came through. Ray pitched 2 scoreless innings and recorded his first 2 strikeouts. Ray pitched in 254 games. He faced 1,242 batters. He struck out 193 players. You know, that's not going up there for a cup of coffee.
I don't know how he remembers these numbers.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they have no records.
There's one thing I wanted to add with Richie, is that that game that I pitched against Tom Seaver against the Cincinnati Reds, Juan Hodges came out to me before Tom Seaver came up. It was the beginning of the second inning, I believe. And Tom Seaver was hitting. And Ron comes out and goes, "Hey, Ray, you know, this guy can hit." I go, "Oh, all right, don't give me any cookies." So here we go, Ron gets down. Okay, I'm gonna try a 2-seamer. Through the 2-seamer, it just stayed straight. Ball goes out to center field. I turn around and go, "He's got me." I look around. This rookie at 409, and if you remember Shea Stadium, it's 410 in center field. He was at 409. I went, "Oh my God." Thank you. All right.
It's a great story, Ray. If I ever get inducted in the Hall of Fame, I want you to induct me. All right, where was I? All right, here's the deal. Ray was around All-Stars and Hall of Famers. I've been to games where Ray was pitching against Wade Boggs, Dwight Evans, Jim Rice, Mike Schmidt, Don Mattingly, to name a few. In 1984, Ray's teammates were Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, Ted Simmons, and Don Sutton. 4 Hall of Famers. That year, Ray rose to the occasion. Ray had a streak of 28 consecutive scoreless innings. That ran into 1985. That was the first part of Ray's career. Ray's second part was the pitching coach of the Pittsburgh Pirates, which he changed the whole culture. The Pittsburgh Pirates were known for the worst road team in baseball. They set records for how many games they lost on the road until Ray got there. Sports Illustrated called Ray the pitch doctor, the pitch whisperer, Clint Hurdle, who was his manager, who didn't want him, but he couldn't get rid of him because he was so good. He, with the culture that he saved, he said Ray was like a great mechanic, the kind of guy you bring your car into, say that it's got problems, and when you get it back, it's never run better. There's still guys today like Charlie Martin that say Ray is responsible for resurrecting their career. So Ray, I'll tell you one thing, Ray had 5 things that got him to where he was for 40 years. One was his, help me out. There's a new one. All these other people wrote stuff down. I didn't know that stuff down.
We've had this friendship going on for quite some time, and usually we finish each other's sentences and stuff. It's just been...
I got it. Came back. First of all, we're both in our 70s. You have some nerve not putting chairs up here. All right. Ray had the ability, Ray had the knowledge, Ray had the personality, and I was going to say sense of humor, but it appears I have the sense of humor. And he had one other thing that was so important that kept him in baseball for 40 years. He had the support, starting from his mother and father, his brother Mark, his wife Vicky, and his 3 sons, Ray, Robbie, and Ryan. And I'd like to think if he had, since he went with all the R's, if he had another boy, he would have named it after me, Richard. But I can't be sure. I don't think there's a Hall of Fame without this guy, professional baseball player, 40 years in the business. My pal, Ray Stewart. Did anybody have any questions? Where are you from? CNN? That's fake news.
Apparently we should have went out of order and finished with that, but we didn't. We still have 3 more to go. I'd like to call up at this time Mr. Frank Bertullo.
I can't believe I gotta follow that. I couldn't follow Tanacore, I gotta follow these 2. Yes. Congratulations to everybody that's being inducted today. I just wanted to say a special congratulations to my old coach, Mr. Gluck. You definitely had an impact on so many people's lives, and you changed the trajectory of my life, my coaching career, my playing career. So congratulations to you. This isn't my speech. This is Coach Gennaro. He couldn't be here. I'm going to read this. Good evening, everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to extend Coach Gennaro's sincere apologies for not being here with us tonight. Coach Gennaro served as the assistant varsity baseball coach during the unforgettable 1997 season when the Deer Park baseball team became the most successful team in school history. This weekend, Coach Gennaro is attending his daughter's final parents' weekend at the University of Alabama, and unfortunately, the timing made it impossible for him to be here. However, he took the time to write this tonight's speech, and I have the great honor of delivering it on his behalf. For those who know who do not know who I am a proud member of the remarkable 1997 team, which makes this moment especially meaningful to me. To stand here tonight and help induct my friend and teammate,
Joe Valentine into the Deer Park Hall of Fame is a privilege I will always cherish. So I grew up with Joe playing soccer in North Babylon together, and when I heard Joe was moving to Deer Park, I knew that was going to be the last piece that we needed on the baseball team to win something special, because Joe was that special of a player. As mentioned, Joe was a key member of our 1997 varsity baseball team. That year we finished with an outstanding 22-3 record. We were crowned League 4 champions, Suffolk County Class A champions, small school champions, Long Island Class A champions, and New York State runner-up, falling just short in the state title game against Owego Free Academy. Joe played a vital role in that unforgettable season. He was our starting catcher, our number 3 hitter, and even took the mound as our closer. His talent, leadership, and dedication earned him recognition as one of the top players in Suffolk County, receiving both All-League and All-County honors. While Joe's high school accomplishments were remarkable, what he did after graduation truly defined his career as a baseball player. After Deer Park, Joe attended Jefferson County Community College in Alabama, where he transitioned from catcher to full-time pitcher, a move that made perfect sense given his incredibly strong arm. Now, on our team, I played third base and Joe was the catcher full-time, unless he was closing. And I finally had to have a talk with Coach A, because before the games we would do pregame, and Coach A would hit the ball to shortstop and second base, and they'd whip it around the diamond, and then finally he would have to bunt. And I said to Coach, Coach, he's throwing mid-90s, he's 40 feet from me, man, you're killing me. I said, aren't there any lefties that bunt in the entire county? Can't you bunt it down first base a little bit to give us some space? But that's how live his arm was. Following his sophomore year, Joe was selected in the 26th round of the Major League Baseball draft. Over the course of his professional career, he played for several Major League organizations, including the Oakland Athletics, Milwaukee Brewers, Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies, Cincinnati Reds, where he made his Major League debut on August 25th, 2003. Joe's remarkable career also took him around the world, playing in Japan, Mexico, and the Dominican Republic, experiences that not only broadened his resume, but deepened his love for the game. Some of Joe's professional accomplishments include being named an All-Star at every minor league level, winning minor league championships at both AA and AAA levels, being named the Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year in 2002, breaking the single-season saves record with 36 in 2002 for the Birmingham Barons, and holding the record for the longest scoreless streak in the entire Chicago White Sox minor league system, 33.1 innings. But while Joe's baseball career more than merits this introduction, what stands out most is his humility. When I called when Coach Gennaro called Joe to compile his post-high school accolades, all he wanted to talk about was his teammates, his coaches, and that 1997 season. That tells you everything you need to know about him. Joe was a true leader. He respected his teammates, his coaches, the umpires, his opponents, and above all, the game itself. He worked diligently at his craft and carried himself with professionalism long before his eventual path to the major leagues. And while we can list his accomplishments after accomplishment, I know Joe would say his greatest honor is having his family here with him tonight. Joe is a proud husband to wife Lauren and a father of 4 daughters, Eve, Haley, Eliana, and Mila. His daughter Eve is a senior here at Deer Park High School, and I know it must be a thrill for her to see her father enshrined in the same schools that she attends, where his plaque will be displayed forever as one of the greatest baseball players to truly ever walk these halls. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to represent my good friend, Joe Valentine. Okay, our next presenter is our head girls soccer coach, Mr. Ian Karanikis.
Thank you, Mr. Fontana. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all the inductees here tonight. It is an honor to stand before you this evening to recognize my former player for introduction into the third class of the Deer Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Tonight, we celebrate a player from a position unlike any other in sports. In a world full of goal scorers and flashy plays, we so often forget the silent strength of the one who stands alone. They are the last line of defense, the person who guards our hopes and prevents our fears. Tonight, we're celebrating the one who played the position better than any other for 5 years. Please welcome my former keeper, Larissa Zambelli, to the stage. I first met Larissa when she volunteered to be a ball girl, chasing wayward soccer balls for her older sister's varsity soccer team. Quick shout out to Lauren, who's in the crowd, who's also a D1 goalie herself. I admired as Larissa always gave 110% and couldn't wait until the day she was old enough to join our program. In 2008, as a mere 8th grader, Larissa was selectively classified to play JV soccer. At tryouts, we quickly realized that would have been an injustice to this young lady. Despite each grade level above her having its own keeper, she was immediately moved to varsity. Within a week, she won the starting job. That year, she helped the team to its first 10-win season in decades, with a 91% save percentage and 6 shutouts. The following year, as a freshman, she posted 12 wins, recorded 9 shutouts, had a staggering 95% save percentage, and helped the girls' soccer team capture its first league title since 1983. She earned all league honors from the Suffolk County Girls Soccer Coaches Association. In 2010, as a sophomore, Larissa led an 11-win team with an 88% save percentage, 6.5 shutouts, and a back-to-back league championship, a first in Deer Park girls soccer history. She was awarded all-conference. In her junior year, she was instrumental in securing a 13-4 record, 92% save percentage, 8.5 shutouts, and her first of 2 all-county awards. Finally, in 2012, as a senior, she was voted captain by her peers, led the squad to a 10-4 record, posted an 86% save percentage with 5.5 shutouts, and once again received all-county recognition. In total, Larissa compiled a 56, 17-5 overall record in 5 years as a starter, registering 302 saves, surrendering a mere 33 goals. Her 90% save percentage and 34.5 shutouts are elite-level high school stats. Additionally, she helped her team qualify for the playoffs all 5 years and advanced the Elite 8 3 times, twice as the winning keeper in a shootout. After high school, Larissa accepted an athletic scholarship to play Division I soccer at LaSalle University in Philadelphia, PA. By her junior year, she had won the starting keeper spot. That year, she started all 18 games and earned an Atlantic 10 Conference Defensive Player of the Week honor. In her senior year, she recorded 17 wins, tied for the most ever in a single season at LaSalle. Posted 11 shutouts, second most, and had a minuscule .74 goals against average, which ranks 3rd in program history. As if that wasn't enough, Larissa was named the Atlantic 10 Championship Most Outstanding Player. Numbers aside, Larissa was the type of keeper that every coach hopes to find at least once in their career. She was truly a quarterback on the field, a great communicator, and one absolutely tenacious player. It didn't matter if it was a practice drill, a scrimmage, or a contest. All she wanted to do was win. As if 20 hours of high school per week weren't enough, Larissa would drive to Albertson several nights a week to train with her nationally ranked club team. In the words of former United States Women's National Team goalie Hope Solo, a goalkeeper is a position built on paradox. The goalkeeper is a lone warrior who is also the heart of the defense. They are the eyes and ears of the back line, the reassuring voice in the chaos of the game. Their confidence radiates outward, inspiring every player on the field to push harder and fight for every inch. They command the box and lead their team from the back and protecting the net from the front. Rue, no one in this uniform has done it any better than you. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me congratulate our newest member of the Deer Park High School Athletic Hall of Fame.
Okay, our final presenter this evening, again, is Mr. Anthony Tanacor.
So, before I do this, first for Mr. Cummings and Mr. Vitullo, this is for you. So the year was 2006 and the bowling program just began. So I was fortunate to have great bowlers, but more important than that, I had great kids. I also had a great unofficial assistant that I was blessed to talk about before. One of the kids on the inaugural bowling team was Eric Zimmerman. He was a 7th grader, and it was obvious how amazing he was both academically and athletically when it came to bowling. While we were practicing on lanes 11 through 16, his little brother, an adorable 3rd grader, was practicing next to us on lanes 9 and 10. He was doing something that really no one else had ever done before. He was throwing the ball down the lane using 2 hands, but without putting his thumb in the ball. Today, it's extremely common, but 20 years ago, it was extremely rare. This little kid, who was adorable, in case I forgot to mention it, would go on to become the greatest bowler in the history of Deer Park. It gives me absolute pleasure to call up Adam Zimmerman. He was so tiny that throwing a ball with one hand was extremely difficult. So he and his dad decided to try throwing it overhand and using 2 hands. Well, that turned out to be an amazing decision. One of the hardest things to do in sports is to throw a perfect game. A perfect game in bowling is 12 strikes in a row. Some people bowl their entire lives and never throw a 300 game. Adam has 80 perfect games. 39 of them have been sanctioned, and another rare accomplishment is throwing an 800 series. This is where 3 games that you bowl add up to at least 800. Obviously, it's very rare because that means you're averaging 267 a game. Adam has 20 800 series. If I was to talk about all of Adam's accomplishments, I'd be here until his own kids were inducted into this Hall of Fame. I will only mention a few. He was Junior Gold Bowl champion, Team Masters champion, Team Masters Grand champion. He was a 4-time New York State All-Star Team High School champion, where his team won all of those championships, as well as he won the Bill O'Neill, Mike Fagan, Parker Bone youth tournaments. He was an 8-time Long Island champion, a 2-time Newsday Long Island Bowler of the Year. He was a 2-time Junior Team United States member, where he won bronze, silver, and gold medals. He was named to Newsday's top 100 athletes of the 2010 decade. And these are just a few of his many, many amazing accomplishments that he has. He continues to perfect his craft as he bowls all over the island and all over the state. So I love all sports, but what makes bowling great is I can never play football with any of the Jets, which isn't a bad thing this season. Oh, sorry, Mr. Fontana, not everybody can have a Jackson dart. I can't play a set of tennis against Djokovic, but what I can do is I can go down to Corn Lanes on a Thursday night, and I could bowl with or even against Adam Zimmerman. Adam, you'd have to give me about 100 pins a game though, and I'd still bet on you. Since you were 8 years old, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch you grow up and become the man that you are. And yes, you're still adorable. You're a great person, you're a great son, you're an amazing bowler, but you're even a more amazing human being. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 Deer Park Hall of Fame.
So as that being our last inductee, for this evening, can we have one more big round of applause for all of our inductees from this evening. So before we venture down the hall to check out our Hall of Fame wing and the cafeteria for desserts, a little housekeeping, I guess. Any of our inductees that plan on marching in the parade tomorrow, we're asking everybody to be there at JFK Intermediate School in the parking lot at 10:30. If you would like to be part of the ceremony tomorrow but don't necessarily want to walk in the parade, you can report to the track football field at the high school at 11:30 for our ceremony, which would be roughly around 11:45 to 12:30 tomorrow. Feel free, although it might be a little chilly, to wear your Hall of Fame t-shirts that you received tonight if you'd like. Before we leave the auditorium, can I ask all of our inductees to come up on stage? Hopefully we can get everybody in for one group shot. And then once we are done with that group shot, we'll be directed through the cafeteria. Go check out the Hall of Fame wing. And please stop in the cafeteria. There are refreshments there that were donated by the Booster Club this evening. And if you partook in any of the raffles, you could see Helen in the lobby to see if you won any raffles. Absolute pleasure to have everybody here tonight. So thrilled that we're doing this. Congratulations and best of luck to everyone.